This
Everyone here?
conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning, everybody. It's May 4th, 2022. May, oh my gosh, it's so soon. And we're really excited to start today with Danielle giving a presentation. She's been working really hard. For those of you who attended the office meeting we had a few months ago, Danielle presented her idea about putting together a charity and she's got it all together now. And so she's going to tell us all about it. And I'm super excited that Danielle's part of our brokerage and has this this charity thought in her heart and wants to share some of her ideas with it. So Danielle, go ahead and just let me know when I should proceed forward on the next slide.
All right. Thank you for your time today. It's going to be very simple and quick. I'm not really great with presentations, so I'll probably get a little choked up here and there. Just bear with me. But I had this idea, and I've come together with a few of us here at the office. Catherine, Julie, and I, along with Cinda and Jackie, have put together what we are now calling North Star Community Initiative. In the beginning of my real estate career, I was struggling. I was pulling myself up by my bootstraps and really working hard to make a living. And now that I've made a living, it feels really important for me to give back along the road that I came up along. And there are many areas of community challenges in our own community that have become aware. My heart goes out to homelessness and the housing, the workforce housing pricing. But let's get started. We have decided to call it North Star, and I had this lovely logo made, North Star Community Initiative, advocating for the Central Oregon culture of connection and awareness through direct, impactful support of local causes. Next one, Linnea. Community, the privilege to be able to give back in impactful ways to our community challenges. We're in the business of building community. We make our incomes from building community. We have a hand in bringing in new community members and being in touch with old Bend community members. So we have a unique position where we know a lot of new people and we're bringing community together. It's nice to have a hand in some of these challenges that we're seeing in our community. Next slide. We've all experienced challenges in different realms. Let's help as real estate professionals, because as professionals, we are also expert problem solvers. Next slide. Strengthening our community. That makes it possible for us to succeed. We strengthen with involvement out in the community, making things happen. Hopefully some events we can pull together, focused on different causes, working together to find solutions, problem solving, think tanking, and building up organizations that are already existing in our community. With our helping hands, our resources, providing dignity for those who are struggling. Next slide. Brokers in the community, we can help by building organizations and building up organizations that pour help, support, food, medical needs, mental health resources, supplies, dignity, and a presence that help us not only foster community warmth and connection, but it also tears apart division, opposition, negativity, and violence. And most importantly, next slide, grows heart and grows community. Next slide. Making significant contribution to our communities by, and this is the plan I have for myself, if I do just 10 deals per year, I can set aside $200 per closing. And that's just an example amount. We can all decide together on what is necessary for everybody or comfortable for anyone. So that brings my total to $2,000 per year of impactful dollars. With 60 brokers doing about the same thing, that's $120,000 per year to make a significant impact to real people in our people in our community. And then we decide together where to fund challenges and problem solve. Next slide. And then what? We give important resources to real people, to our people. We can make a difference in homelessness, dining with dignity, housing affordability, widow and widower awareness, bend broker support for life's challenges, catastrophe funds, dream fund for low-income local kids, and existing organizations like Core Community Land Trust, Partners in Care, Bethlehem Inn, etc. North Star events. I'd love to put together some North Star events that bring together our community to educate New Bend on what Old Bend used to look like, why some of the streets are named honkers, things like that, and help New Bend get to know Old Bend and have a sense of pride in having a hand in making it comfortable for everybody to live here. Next slide. Building needed help and supporting existing initiatives. Sorry, I've got a pet problem. Give to need that is specific to our own experiences. So we all have experiences. We've all been places that were uncomfortable. We all have places that we're going to go that are uncomfortable. So giving back to those experiences that are important to you helps us create a big heart in this charitable event. Vote on charities that we all will donate to and have an ongoing fund for unexpected catastrophe in our community. We decide together and have a close hand in giving with our heart. Next slide. Let's build it together. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Danielle. Does anyone have questions about Danielle's thought and how we can go from there? And I'm excited to hear about Catherine, Julie, Cinda, and Jackie also supporting in this. So any other thoughts about this?
And this is now a 501c3 organization, so I am now allowed to start fundraising.
501c3 organization. It's tax deductible,
Yeah.
and obviously this is something that Danielle had this in her heart that she wanted to get involved with, and now we're at a point where it's being launched. So I'm excited about some of your charities that you're thinking about, and obviously it's going to be done like through your board of directors. Is that your thought, that you guys are going to come up with like, this is our charity of the month, or is this our, we're going to be funding everything equally?
It's all
or
late and we're creating it as we go, but I think that's very doable. I'd like to start with some events in the community. Maybe a Thump in Northwest Crossing, where we can put on a little evening event with getting New Bend to know the history of Old Bend, and maybe then talking about some of the challenges in the community with some snacks and a little band, and then have Bend Premier and Bend Premier brokers be at the heart of that. So it also promotes us as business professionals.
It sounds like a win for everything there. Does anyone else have any thoughts about it, or just maybe get to a point where we're going to start seeing some of these events kind of rolling out as the board comes up with ideas, and then we can all participate? Is that kind of a thought too, Danielle?
Yes, absolutely. So.
Okay, great. And obviously, if anyone has questions at all, they can direct them to Danielle, because I'm just amazed that Danielle's done this and put this entire charity together from the ground up, and it's being launched now. So North Star Community Initiative, I like that thought. It's just great.
Thank you for your time today, everybody. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Danielle. Okay. Well, I'll go from there to business stuff. And the next thing I need to do is to log in here to Skyslope, because I wanted to, and I need to go over, more and more of us are using Skyslope and the forms available on Skyslope this year, especially since zip forms have become something that is an additional cost, whereas they used to be supported by National Association of Realtors, supplementing the overhead costs connected with that. So as I have seen more and more people using the forms available in Skyslope, which is wonderful, there are some additional things that can be done through Skyslope that I think people are not aware of that would actually help speed up the process and make your life a little bit easier as far as updating missing documents and missing signatures, missing initials on your transactions when we let you know what's going on. So I'm going to start right from the beginning, and if I am going too slow or going too fast on anything, please feel free to pop up something in the chat or unmute yourself and just say, could you go over that again? Or I didn't catch that, because I want to make sure you guys grasp all of this. So if you have never yet logged into Skyslope, it's right here. And you should all have that login information. Your username is your email. And the first time you ever log in, if you have never done it before, you click this box that says forgot your password. You will get a temporary password that comes to your email address, at which point in time you log in again with that temporary password. And then as soon as you're logged in, you sign in, you're on the home page of Skyslope. Okay, the home page of Skyslope will show you your scheduled closings of the month, your active deals, your pending deals, how many you've closed, expired escrows. Now I have a few extra buttons here that you may not have because I have administrative access, as does Brittany, as does Emily. So we can kind of see everything that's going on. For you, your dashboard will look just for your own personal transactions. You will see at the top your name. If you click on your name, you can go to My Account, which is where you can make some adjustments. So, you know, your information here, your signature. I did that because when you email out of Skyslope, if you put your signature in here, this should automatically go with any email that you send there. You can change your password with this document. Your notifications, some of these would be grayed out for you. These are things that we have as administrators popped in here. These are things such as you're going to be notified 3 days before a listing expires. You'll be notified 3 days before the transaction closing date with information regarding that transaction. So some of these things have been grayed out, but things that are not grayed out for you, you can change. So if you, for instance, you want to be emailed if you have a new assigned task or something like that happens, you can change these things at any time. But anything you change, you have to make stick by hitting the save button. So anyway, that's what is here in your account page. But right next to it, let me go back to the home page again. You will see this app button, as well as these buttons here, a search, a support, and a print button. The support button, again, you can always reference to support. Support, these people are from Sacramento, California. They man their support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And again, being that they're from Sacramento, they speak perfect English. It's not like you're talking with people from another country that sometimes it's hard to understand their accents. So their support is here. How to reset your password, how to create a transaction, all kinds of stuff. Skyslope forms, Breeze, DigiSigns, and here email response, chat response, and phone pickup on the second ring. So you can do anything here. You can hit the chat button and talk to them. And I've talked to a number of brokers who said they've had issues trying to get something resolved, and they've gone to the support, and it's worked really well. Now, I can also help you if you call me, but realize I don't answer my phone 24 hours a day. So if you're up at 2 in the morning, something's driving you crazy that you can't figure something out, go ahead and reach out to these people here, because this is their job. So when I go back here again, you see the apps. If I click on the apps, I can see I can switch back and forth from forms to DigiSign. I also have on my main dashboard a DigiSign right here, digital signature, but I can also do it through the apps. But what I'm going to do is go to the forms. Okay, so I'm clicking on the forms. First time you log into forms, the very first time, you will be asked a series of questions, such as what state are you from? And you will also be required to pull up the ORIF forms. You will have to put in your license number. Again, that's the way ORIF recognizes that you have paid for their forms. And they have this login feature, just like the same thing is true with zip forms. you have to log in with your license number and verify that you've paid for your annual subscription to your forms. Now, if you click on your name here at the top again, you can look at your user profile. This is where I would suggest you've put in your personal information, your first and last name, your phone number, your license number, your MLS code, what regions of this country do you serve. If you happen to have another region, say you're also licensed in another state that happens to use Skyslope, you can add in other areas that you may be involved with, another state, your brokerage name, the brokerage license number. And the reason why you would want to put all this information in here is because it becomes your information that gets pulled automatically into your form. So this is a savings, a time saving thing that would really help you tremendously on that. Also, when you see your associations, this is where you can add in an additional association. And when you do such a thing, you can see these are all the different associations around the country that utilize Skyslope. Now, the first time I looked at this, there was only 3. And now look at this. Skyslope is kind of taking over the country as far as the platform that a lot of places utilize to host their forms. And so it's all over the place. So this is where you would do. Also, my connected associations. So again, when you go, the connected associations are the forms. And so when you set up your profile, you will be asked to add the forms that are pertinent to you. So in this case, I loaded up the Oregon data share forms, which includes the MLSCO listing forms as well as our input forms. So these are like our listing forms. And again, it's called the Oregon data share forms. Then the Oregon real estate forms, ORIF, and again, you had to put your license number in order to have access to this. For me personally, I also added the RMLS form. That's the Regional Regional Multiple Listing Service. And you know that that's a secondary MLS for us. And so I put those forms in here as well, should I need to use them for anything. There's again this help button that you can always use if you get lost on something. So again, they are great at helping step you through this whole thing. So that's basically your profile, your associations, and anytime this app button is here, and I can flip back and forth to Skyslope or DigiSign. So if I want to go back to Skyslope, I can go back there. I don't know what Breeze is. This is something brand new. So don't ask me what Breeze is. I haven't gotten any information on that yet. Something new. But I'm going to go back to my files. Okay. So here I am in my files. And so I just play around with this. Sometimes I help people when they have need for me to produce a document for them or something like that. That's why I have some files in here, but I really don't use this all that much, but I do know how to do it. So what I'm going to do right from the start is I'm going to create a new file. It starts asking me questions. Who's your client? So I'm going to put down, I'm working with a buyer. Excuse me. And my primary, or I could say, actually, I'm going to start with the seller. I'm going to start with the listing. So I'm going to start with the seller. And I'm going to put down myself as the seller. So I'm putting down my name. I'm not going to put down this bin broadband email address. You guys all know that bin broadband's having some major issues right now. That's why I keep on getting these pop-ups here. So I'm going to put myself down as the seller. I can add an additional contact. So if I wanted to put down my husband because we both own our own house together, or say it's in a trust. So it's the Miller Family Revocable Trust, and the representative name is my name. So if I needed to have realestate.com, if I needed to have my husband also sign, it could be again the Miller Family Revocable Trust, and I would put his name down there, but I'm not going to do that for this place here. Now, do I have a property yet? I can import MLS data, or I can just pop in this information. Obviously, I've done this at one point in time before, which is why it auto-populated it. But if you haven't done this before, you need to add your own information. And then at the end, how would you like to name your file? You can name it. By default, it will pop in the address. But if you wanted to instead put in the name of the client, you could do that too. It'll pop back and forth. Once you've done that and you're ready to go, you can apply a template. But if you haven't yet done that, and most of you haven't yet, I'm going to go this way and just start from the beginning here. So I'm going to create, I'm not going to ask for any of my template. I do have a residential listing template already set up, which has a number of forms in there. But in this case, I'm not going to do that because you haven't seen that yet. So I'm just going to create it from the start here. Now, the next thing is to add the forms that are pertinent to this file. So what I'm going to do is go searching through my libraries, and I'm going to do the MLS-CO. If I just start typing it, MLS-CO, and you can see it will pull up all the stuff that would be pertinent to this. So here's the MLS-CO listing contract. I'm going to add that. So now you see at the bottom, I've added one form, and I can view it, but I'm going to add more forms because we all know for listings, we need to have more than that. I need to have also the data share. Oh, I'm going to look at the library here, the Oregon data share forms. So let me see, get rid of that. So all the data share forms are pulling up here now. So from that library, I'm going to pull up, I already pulled up the MLS-CO listing contract, but I'm going to pull up the photography license agreement. I'm going to pull up the residential input sheet, which of course is what we all know we need to use for putting this into MLS. So I have so far the 3 forms. I could view them at any time. So I have the MLS-CO listing contract, the photography license agreement, the Oregon residential input sheet. Now I'm going to go also to the ORIF forms because I need the seller, start popping that in there. I'll get rid of the Oregon data share form. I can just leave that there, but the seller, just start typing it, the disclosed limited agency for seller. I'm also going to pop in the pamphlet or disclosure pamphlet. So I have here now the pamphlet, the disclosed limited agency for sellers, input sheet, photography, listing agreement, and now I need also the seller's disclosure statement. Okay, so now I think I have everything I need. Now what I'm going to do, since I have all the forms here, I can hide them, but I can hit the next button. So they're all here. And now the next thing for me to do is to start filling them in. I can apply my template if I want. If I have additional documents, say I had something new that I had put together, like some information on like an exhibit or something else like a description of the property or things that my client has done since that point in time, I can upload additional documents here by pulling things in from my desktop or from other places within my, my computer. But I'm not going to do that right now, but I'm just going to start by filling these things in, making sure I've got it correctly. Now, auto-populated, since I set things up originally, it set up my seller name, the seller's agent firm. I have certain things I have to fill in. I am the managing principal broker. The term, so I'm going to have to fill in how long do I want my term to last. Say it's going to be through January 31st. Okay. Where did I click to import documents? That's a good question here. So let me go back, save and exit. So I have this right here. Excuse me. Add forms here. I can add forms here. So I can upload them here from this file, add forms. So I can go back here and add additional forms to this library. At the top, you can see the deal I'm in, which is my listing here. I can add forms going back this way, or I can add forms through the upload. So again, if I'm here back into my, let me go back here. Here's my transaction that I'm in. So I can add forms this way. I can upload documents to this document here. So I could upload here, and it will take me to wherever I wanted to go here. So here I'm on my desktop. I can add my listing presentation here or whatever I have. Okay, cancel. So again, I was back in here into working on my documents. So here's where I started adding things in here. Acknowledges, understand, enter the property as of, say it's on 5/4/2022. Compensation, anything you need to do to change here. The brokerage fee, say it's 5%. And we're going to have 100% to seller. So just the normal things that you normally would fill out here on your listings. It again auto-populates certain things. Things that you don't have anything that you need to fill out is left blank, but there will be, when we move this over for signatures, there'll be sections for the seller to initial. Any additional provisions I might have, the seller's mailing address, of the Bend, Oregon. So sometimes the entity has a different mailing address. Save. So now that populates in there, and the phone number. I'll add that in here. 541-771-6390. Save. Okay. So now that document is done. Save. What I've done is I just need to keep on working through this whole contract here. So I have the next one to work on, the photography license, all that stuff. I would fill in all this stuff. Say I'm ready to go now. So I'm done. I've added everything. I'm done with this. I'm going to go ahead and get back to so say I'm ready now to move forward into the next steps. So I'm now at a point, I've got everything done and filled in the way it needs to be. So now the next thing for me to do is to fill and send, and I'm going to prepare for the signature. So now I'm creating an envelope, just like you would in DocuSign. So here in DigiSign, you create an envelope. So now my envelope name, again, we called it the address. So now I'm going to say, who needs to sign? So I know that the seller needs to sign, but I'm also here as an agent. There's sections for me to sign. There are some sections for me to sign. So there's places I need to sign as well. Anything else I need to have people sign, I can always go back to my initial document and put in who else I need to sign, additional people. But now I've created my envelope. So now I hit the next button. And now I'm in DigiSign for signatures. All my forms are here ready to go. And I have down who are the people who need to sign. Now it will auto-populate things. So I can see the recipient, my seller, the Miller Family Revocable Trust. It's going to mark where they need to sign. Also, it's going to mark where I, as the seller's agent, need to sign. So it's all ready and marked, ready to go. If there's anything that needs to be changed, I can change it. Or if I decide, and this is one of the issues with DigiSign, it will mark on FERPTA both places, but it doesn't make sense for a seller to mark that they are both eligible for FERPTA and not eligible for FERPTA. So what you should do here is get rid of one of them. The one that they're not eligible for, I clicked on that and I hit delete. It removed that section for my client to sign because, again, they are not a foreign person under FERPTA. And then it moves forward here, you know, and again, I didn't bother to fill out any of these other ones, but if it did, again, it marks where the client is to sign on all the different documents. So the ORF, the Disclosed Limit Agency for Sellers, where the seller needs to sign. You may want to check and see anything else that may not be checked. For instance, the seller having discussed with the seller's agent the duties and responsibilities of the agent represents more than one party. Do you want your seller to check here? If so, make sure that they can initial here and here. Initial may or may not represent them. So things that are missed, they obviously can, you need to fill that out as well. Anything you need to do as far as a debt, say there's a checkbox they need to fill out. For instance, this is one thing that's always a little tricky here, is on all this. Notice on the disclosed, on the property disclosure statement, every box is open for your client to check. So when you send this off for them to sign, you need to discuss with them, when you get to the property disclosure statement, you should be marking only those things that pertain. Seller is or is not occupying the property. They should be checking as they go through here everything that is pertinent to them. So right now, everything is eligible for them to sign. And when you're ready and everything looks good, you hit the send button. And then you have an envelope popping up here. It's like you have documents to sign. You want to change anything here. Say, please review and sign where indicated. Please let me know if you have questions. And then I'm going to send for signatures. And now it's been sent. Now, because I'm also someone who needs to sign on that as a listing agent, it's going to say sign now. And I can sign my own personal section. I agree. Start. And here's where I'm signing as the seller's agent. I pick what I want to say. Signs here. Signs here. And I think that's it. All these pop-ups. Finish signing. It's done. Okay. Now, the thing that's fun about this is you can see now I can go to my envelope and you can see it's been signed by one of two. I can see what's been done here. And when, I'm going to go to my emails real quick and see, here it goes. Documents to sign, because I'm also the seller here. So I'm going to sign now as a seller. Actually, that's not working right. Go back here. Should pop in something else here. Because as a seller, I still have to sign as that point. Anyway, I won't waste the time waiting for that to come in, because it should come in any second. But let me go here and get out of that. And now the next step here, questions here. Yeah, and I should have two emails for signatures. Yes, Eric. One is the seller and one is the agent. Absolutely. So when I'm done with all of that, then I go back to Skyslope. Excuse me. So I'm going to go back to Skyslope. Now what I'm going to do here is manage my listings. I'm going to create a listing. This is a step that a lot of you guys don't know about. And this is the thing that I think is really, really helpful. It pops in, hi, Sky, your listing file assistant. Let me submit your listing information. What I'm going to do is pull it from my forms. And it will pop up my most recently created files. So I'm going to pull this one up here. Next question. Let's start with the agent. I am the agent. What type of listing is it? It's a residential listing. Next question. How much is this property offered for? Let's say 900,000. Next question. What's the listing commission? Sales commission? Any co-listing agents, I would pop them in here. Say I wanted to have Emily Reeves come with me. How long is this listing good for? We said it was until January 31st. Oh, excuse me, that's the expiration date. We got January 31st. The listing date would be 5. Come on. 5/04/2022. Next question. What year is it built? 2001. Next question. What's the source of the deal? Personal referral. Next question. And last, who's selling the property? I pulled that data in from the forms. So Miller Family Revocable Trust. Next question. Does everything look right? Create my listing. See how easy that was? It's now ready to go. It shows all the required information that we would normally ask for. And the documents that we've already created in here should be pulled over as well. Because they're still out for signatures on the seller side, they're not in here yet. But they would be pulled in here if they had come back yet on their envelope, as we pulled it all over. That's what's so cool about this thing. And then the checklist is here, listing information is here. So everything we filled in here to start with, the contacts. Now, the other thing that's kind of fun about this too is I can add additional contact information. So like if I had a home warranty company that I was working with here, any other miscellaneous contact, that could be pulled in here as well. Here you have your checklist, the documents. And again, if they had come back from the signature from the seller side, they'd be in here. But what I can also do, and this is something that people are not totally understanding about that, I can upload additional documents here. So say I've got my checklist all set and go, and I put my documents in here that I would need for all my listings. And now I find I need to upload something else. I hit the upload document. I can pull something up off my computer, say this is something that I needed for my for this file. I'm going to open it up right here. So now I have this document in here. I'm going to move it because I need to send it out for signature. So it's a new document. Yeah, like a well log or septic docs. Absolutely, Eric, absolutely. So now I can send this also off for signatures. It already pulls in the listing agent, me, the seller. Information has not yet been added in here, so there's a little bit of disconnect between the two, but I can still add more information here that the co-listing agent is here, and I can edit what do I need Emily to do? Does she need to sign on this document, or she just needs to receive a copy? You can save that, say I need to sign on that document, so I'm going to sign. Emily just needs to receive a copy. I send it off for signature. I mark where I need to sign, the date. You can move this around. Send it off for signature. Please sign where indicated, and send for signatures. So again, because it's going to me as a listing agent, I pick a signature, I agree, I start, I sign, submit, it's done. Now, if I go back to my document, in my listing, and I go to my documents here, you will see that this document is in the file. I just clicked on it. And here it is with my signature. So it's all done. God, it's so hard with, so now that it's here signed, I can then assign it to the checklist if I wish to. So that's a referral agreement, assign. And now it's here in the checklist. So that's how that works. Do you guys have questions on this? I know I went kind of fast on this section. You guys didn't stop me on it. But say I got information back. So here's how you typically have done this before. You get the things off for signature, then you send back to us the PDF of all the information. Now we have all that information back and we set up the file. But say in reviewing the file, I will make a notation as I do it that like this is missing other agent's signature. Save. So what I've done is I've rejected this because it was missing the signature. Missing. Save. So now you get back the thing that this is incomplete. And when I update the agent, I update the agent with the missing documents, you get an email. You know that this is missing that signature. Well, what you could do is go back into Skyslope itself, find the document in your document list, click on it, send it to DigiSign, and email it out for the missing signature. And when it comes back, it's right here in the file. The only issue is the problem that we are not automatically notified when a new document gets into your document section, unless we put it in there ourselves. So if you would take it from this document section and then assign it to the proper checklist item, then we would not be notified. Otherwise, or send us an email and say it's in the documents, I've sent this out, it's there, and then we can assign it to the proper checklist. I mean, otherwise we just won't know that because we don't have time to go through all the files and look at them. We look at the things that are in the checklist. That's how I review the files. Can you show me again how it automatically went into documents? Yes, Jane. So when you're in Skyslope, not in Forms, but when you're in Skyslope and you have, you find that there's something missing. So say you've gotten this checklist and I've said you are missing a signature on the disclosed limited agency for sellers, or something's missing. We know that everything gets into the checklist from your documents. So if you're in the documents, you would find the document for the disclosed limited agency. Right now, only thing I have in here is the referral agreement. So I'm going to click this, send it to DigiSign. So here it is, and it'll pull up everything that's in my documents to start with, but it'll check the one I noted. So say I have additional things I need to have checked as well, I can click a bunch of them. If I have a template set up, I can use that, but then I would do the next button. If the new recipient's not here, I can add another recipient to get a copy of this. Say I need to add someone who is, say I'm going to add Emily Reeves. I already have her as co-agent. Let's say I'll put her down as she's like a agent on the other side. Say she's the agent on the other side. Now she needs to sign. So I can see now I have Emily as the agent on the other side of this transaction. I go next. Signature, where does she need to sign? Just this, and the date signed. Send. Please sign where indicated. Send for signatures. it was sent to Emily. Now, when she signs it, so here it's again in my drafts, you know, it's everything that's out here. So it's showing that this is out for signatures right now. So this is what's been sent. It's out for signatures. I go back here to my listings. I pop in what the deal is. It's pulling it up here. And when Emily has signed it, it comes back into my documents. So it looks like Emily has already signed that. If I look at it here, there she has, she signed it already. So, and then I can assign it to whatever I want to assign it to. Did that answer your question, Jane? Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. And when I review the files, I will often see, oh, there's a missing initial on this page. Again, you can pull it directly from your documents, because I will note on the checklist, missing seller's initial or missing buyer's initial. When you set up your file, say I'm in a transaction. I don't want to go into the transaction though, because those are private stuff. But say I'm in, I'll go back to my Telluride example. But say I'm in a transaction and I know I'm missing something on the other side. If I've set up my files appropriately in the transactions, I will have both the listing agent, the buyer, the agent on the other side. Say I'm missing something from the other side as well. Seller's missing this. I can send directly out of Skyslope to the agent on the other side and say, please sign where indicated. And when they've done it, it comes back to your documents. Then, so it's saving steps along the way. What I also love about this, if you go the checklist, this is what we do when we get these things in contract. The reason why everything is grayed out right here, right now, is because I'm missing all these documents. When I've actually got an accepted contract in here, this is how we change it. We click this button for accepted contract. I can't do this because I don't have the documents here. It won't allow me to accept a contract until I have a complete listing file. But when I have a complete listing file, I accept the contract, and then a whole new set of documents pulls up, which includes, not documents, but a whole new checklist pulls up, which are all the pertinent things that pertain to that listing that we require. And then when we set up the file, we set them up for you but if we set it up, if you set them up and you put in the information on who the escrow officer is and complete with email and phone number, you can email directly from Skyslope to the escrow office. You can set up escrow right from the back end, pulling that document over and emailing it all from there. There's a button that pops up. Do you want to send this off to escrow? And we always just skip over it because we're not setting up the escrow for you, but this is a way you can do it as well. Makes it a little easier. Questions on that? Other questions? And if you have anything that I should go over again? Anything haves or wants that anyone would like to talk about? If so, please unmute your mic and just share. Yeah, Eric.
Yeah, I've got a number of halves coming up. I have a 1755 square foot manufactured home on an acre in Deschutes River Woods, detached garage, fresh paint in and out, a little bit of a horse corral, updated kitchen, updated bathrooms. We'll be at about $575 for that. Mid-90s built, manufactured, that's in very good shape. Brand new roof, new skylights. We'll be at $575 for that. That's coming out in about 2 weeks. I've got a new listing in Redmond.
paved road for that one?
No, it's on Choctaw, 19067 Choctaw Road. It's a gravel road,
Okay,
kind of up on a hill, but very good condition. Huge decks front and back, covered front deck, and nice deck out back.
great, thank you.
Fully fenced out back with some horse setups and a loafing shed. I've got in Redmond, downtown Redmond at 4th and Cedar, I believe. So it's a couple blocks from Wild Ride Brewing and all the food trucks and restaurants. It is a single level, 3-bedroom plus an office, 1 bath, covered carport, huge shed, fenced backyard. We'll be at, I think we're at about 460 for that in downtown Redmond, walking distance to all the shops and restaurants downtown.
Yeah, okay.
What else do I have? I've got 2 listings in Prineville coming up, both of them on Weekasa Lane, which is a gated community south of town off of Golden Eagle and Weekasa Lane. It's a gated community. Both of these homes are on the ridge overlooking the Prineville Reservoir. So both of these have full lake views. The first one is 5 acres, a 2,700 square foot home, a 40 by 60 shop. Stunning home. We'll be at about $975 for that one. And the other one is 2 doors down, and it is also with lake view, 4 acres, a 5,200 square foot house.
Wow.
Will be about 1.1 to 1.2 in that range. We're finalizing that price. Let me think what else. I think that's it at the moment.
That's a lot, Eric. That's exciting, listings like that.
Yeah.
I think some of these are going to go really quick.
Yes.
Great. Any other haves or wants, people? Anybody else? Any other haves or wants? Okay, if not, then I think that's it for today. Lisa, if you'd like to stay on, I'm going to stop the recording.